Yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another week of predictions, and this week it's UFC Chile Demian Maia against Kamaru Usman. But first, I want to go back to a little bit of a review on last week's, and basically we went 10-3, so we had a pretty good night, and as well we also hit our most confident pick in the parlay of the week, so everything was a hit last week. Hopefully, we can bring that forward to this week, but there was some pretty good contests in that card. I did feel pretty disappointed by Raquel Pennington's corner and their decision to, make Raquel go out there for the 5th round. I feel like they should have, saved her, let her, come back and fight another day. But other than that, I thought it was a, pretty good card. I thought a lot of things happened that we thought happened. I really thought that Marcus Perez was just much better than James Boknovic, and that's what happened. You got that first round submission there. Lyoto Machida turned back the clock in that nasty front kick to the face KO of Vitor Belfort. That was one of the best KOs, of the year. Definitely in the running for knockout of the year. John Lineker getting a sick knockout. I mean, this was a great night of fights, guys. Kelvin Gastelum, we got that upset pick correct. He was able to, come through, get a good decision victory there. I really thought he should have got the finish, but, either way, he did a good job in that fight, and I thought that Jacare looked pretty good as well, but definitely looked like he gassed. Maybe had a problem with the weight cut, like he said. I think he's still going to come back strong. For Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Cooper, one of the ones I got wrong, but didn't think Amanda Cooper was going to have as big a weight disadvantage as she had, or Mackenzie Dern came in almost 8 pounds over. And, it finished pretty quickly. Mackenzie Dern was able to get the win there. Congrats to her. But in my opinion, she needs to take a good, 6 to 8 months off and, just get in better shape, revive her image a little bit, because I still think even with the win, she really took a beating, in the court of public opinion. I think a lot of people felt a little bit salty with Mackenzie Dern this weekend, and, for good reason. What she did was very unprofessional. And for up next, Carl Roberson against Cesar Ferreira. And, this is kind of what I expected. Carl Roberson just isn't ready yet. I thought that there was a little too much too soon. And Cesar Ferreira was just able to take him down and exploit him and submit him fairly quickly. And for the next fight, Alexei Oleinik against Junior Albini. I mean, what the fuck was that, man? I mean, another Ezekiel choke for Alexei Oleinik. That's 2 Ezekiel chokes in the UFC, the only 2 ever been done. And he just keeps on going, man. 40 years old, beat another, pretty decent guy on the outside top 15, probably in the top 25. And maybe give him another top 10 opponent here. I mean, he didn't really lose to Curtis Blaydes technically, even though he was, well on his way to losing that fight. But, this fight, he had basically a sacrifice Ezekiel. I mean, I don't know, maybe it looked like he just dragged Albini down, but maybe Albini, he was saying in his post-clip that Albini actually took him down. But either way, he just locked it up on the feet, locked up that position, and right when Albini took him down, the choke started to get tighter and tighter, and he got another one, man, another Ezekiel choke, and Alexei Oleinik just keeps on keeping on, man. And up next for Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos versus Sean Strickland, another one that I picked incorrectly, and Sean Strickland was looking pretty good early. It was kind of looking like what I thought, where he was going to be trying to stay on the outside, use his jab, use his kicks, and Elizeu was going to be very, very aggressive, and eventually he just landed that capoeira kick, man, really nasty spinning back kick, just beautiful, man, and I was really, really impressed by that. I think Elizeu really deserves pretty high-level guy now. He's won 4 in a row. He always comes to fight. He's always entertaining. I don't know really what his ceiling is in the UFC, because I do think he still has some holes. But, he could be a very entertaining guy for years to come. And up next, Nick Hein against Davi Ramos. And, Davi Ramos was able to get Nick Hein down, and right when he did, you could just see the different levels of jiu-jitsu there. And, Nick Hein was having some success on the feet early. He was tagging Davi Ramos, maybe even hurt him a little bit. But, like I said, right when that fight went to the ground, Davi was able to lock in that rear naked choke and just submit him. But he was just going through everything, going through his guard like butter, man. He just really is a very, very good jiu-jitsu player on the ground. You could just see how strong he is. And he's a force to be reckoned with in that division, man. I don't know if he could beat the elite guys yet, but I think he's ready for a top 15 name, and see how that, jiu-jitsu game could translate into the higher ranks of the UFC, because Nick Hines is no slouch, man. That was his first loss by submission. And, very, very good performance there by Davi Ramos. And up next, we had Sultan Ali versus Warley Alves. And, Worley was just way better than this guy. Sultan Aliyev, I just don't think he's the greatest fighter. I don't think he's a UFC level fighter, and Worley Alves got it done, and he called out Colby Covington, pretty funny in the post-fight, and, I don't think he's at that level yet, even though he already beat Colby, but Colby's obviously fighting for an interim title, where, Worley's, I don't even know if he's in the top 15, but, Worley Alves is still extremely dangerous. He's very good. He's starting to, get his cardio intact. I think he's really just starting to learn how to fight more in bursts than going crazy, going for that finish early, and he's looking like a beast, man. And up next, Talis Leites against Jack Hermansson. Just an incredible show of heart by Jack Hermansson, man. He hurt his rib, broke his rib. It seemed like he had a problem with one of his legs, but maybe it was just the rib. I'm not 100% positive. But, he got beat down in that second round because of it. Was really getting dominated. Was in some deep chokes. Would not give up. Was able to survive. And eventually, man, he was able to get back up in that third round and, get on top position on Talis Leites. With Leites just did a very stupid decision. He jumped for a guillotine, which I thought was very just not smart of him because he gave up the top position if he wasn't going to get that guillotine. And I thought that there was no way that he was going to give up the top position any other way because Hermansson was hurt. But, he gave it up, and Hermansson was able to take the back almost immediately and start raining down heavy shots. I mean, that guy is some very elite ground and pound, man. It's some of the best in the division, and really is. I mean, he has very, very elite ground and pound. He's finished 3 guys like that now in the UFC, and just takes the mount, gets the back, it just starts raining down just these brutal shots, and it's hard to deal with. And up next we had Alberto Mina gets Ramazan Emeev, and kind of what I thought, man. Emeev was just better everywhere. He's able to piece him up on the feet, hold him in that clinch, and take him down, control him on the ground. And Mina just didn't really have much, Mina is coming off all these long layoffs. I don't know if that had to affect on him, but I just don't think that Mina's as good as Ramazan. I don't think he would have beat Ramazan, even in his prime. So, for me, man, I think Ramazan Emeev at 170 is very interesting. He should be able to move up the ranks pretty fast, in my opinion. And sky's the limit for that guy. He really has great control. Really does a good job of putting the fight where he wants it and just, being the bully in there. And we're gonna move on to UFC Fight Night Chile now, and the first fight is Claudio Puelles against Felipe Silva, and this is a pretty interesting fight. Claudio Puelles is very young, coming off a pretty long layoff, a year and a half. He's been training with Pitbull Martial Arts Center, the same camp that, trains Enrique Barzola, and they have a very good camp, in my opinion. They have a very good corner. They do a good job. And he's going to be fighting against Felipe Silva, who's also coming off a decent layoff. Not quite a year, but maybe like 8-9 months. But, Claudio Puelles is still very young. He's only 22 years old. And I actually think he has some pretty good potential, to be honest. He's fast. He's athletic for the weight class. He's still developing in his striking, but he has very fluid movement, kicks and punches. And it showed with practice he could become a proficient striker. He throws nice front kicks to the body, round kicks, high kicks. He's a southpaw, so he definitely has that nice straight left hand that he could throw fast and down the pipe. Has power with it. He can get a bit wild on the feet and throw some crazy techniques like jumping roundhouse kicks. He still needed help in his striking in terms of, moving his head, coming in off different angles, and faking and feigning a little bit. He becomes a little bit predictable and comes in on straight lines, doesn't move his head. And people were able to time him coming in, hit him, and drop him. He has a decent chin and will recover fairly quickly. So I don't know how long that's going to last because the chin always is going. But for now, he still has a decent chin, good recoverability. He has a solid double leg, does a good job of setting it up with his strikes. He's strong. He'll pick you up, slam you if he gets his hands connected. Very aggressive ground and pound. Likes to get the mount, take the back, and just pound you out. And he'll rather lay ground and pound and knock you out from top position than go for submissions. He doesn't really go for a lot of submissions, but off his back, he's very active with submissions. Very nice leg locks. Will dive on submissions, and is very dangerous off his back. He has good cardio, and he should be a better product coming into this fight since he's so young. He's training at a good gym, Pitbull Martial Arts, and the only thing I didn't like about him is he did not seem like a guy. He seemed like a guy who got a little bit tentative after he got hit, and didn't react well to shots. He got hurt to the body against Martin Bravo and just dropped to the ground. And he's definitely going to need to address that against Felipe Silva, because Felipe Silva is a great kickboxer, man. 45-3 career record with 41 KOs. Dynamic and explosive striker. Very long for the division and extremely aggressive early. So I think that he's going to try to come out here and blitz Claudio Puelles and try to get him out, man. And he'll go for the knockout from the opening bell. Nasty straight right hand. He likes to close the distance with it and land a flurry of shots. And nice right hook to the body that he throws as well. Nice leg kicks. He throws some front kicks to the body. But I actually think he should throw more kicks. You know, he has a really nice spinning heel kick that he could throw with very little setup. And I think that his kicks could be devastating. But he doesn't throw quite as many kicks as I'd like him to. He has good lateral movement, and then he'll explode when he sees an opening on a combination. And he can eat punches sometimes coming in. But he has good fakes and feints. He can freeze you from the outside, come in, and land his nice right hook. He has knockout power on that shot. He has a nasty tie clinch and land hard knees and elbows from there. And when he hurts you, he swarms and goes for the finish, 100% a finisher. I've not seen his takedown defense tested much, but he has good footwork, hard to time a shot on for sure. And when he has been taken down, he's able to use his long limbs to defend any damage, eventually use butterfly hooks to stand up. He was knocked out before he even got started, really, in his last fight against Marbek Taisimov. Taisimov was able to catch him with a perfect counter straight right hand that knocked him out cold. And I don't think that Silva's someone who would change his style from a knockout like that. And I think that he's still going to come in with that come-forward style, very aggressive striking. And I think it's a tough matchup for Puelles, especially coming off a long layoff. I think that, like I said, he doesn't react the best to strikes, in my opinion. And coming off a long layoff and having to come in and feel someone like Felipe Silva in the first round, I think it might be a little too much for Puelles. And I'm going to go with Felipe Silva by first-round KO in that fight. And, I'm pretty confident in that. I just don't think that Claudio Puelles is going to be able to come back from that long of a layoff and fight a guy that aggressive early on and have much success. But up next we have Henry Briones against Frankie Saenz. And, a pretty weird fight. These guys are extremely old for the division. 37 years old, both of them for 135 pounds. That's like ancient. But Henry Briones is a tough fighter. Solid boxing, stays right in your face. His left hand is his best weapon as he'll attack with a very stiff left jab. Nice counter left hook. He has power on his punches. He'll sit down on them and wing them in the pocket. He likes to dig to the body with hooks. Nice left uppercut. He'll throw that with knockout power. He also has a decent right hook. He has good feints and tries to change up his timing. He'll throw some kicks, but not as many as I like, and it's not really a strong point. He can get too amped up at times and just want to fight, come in very predictably, get clipped. He did that against Cody Garbrandt quite a few times. He gets hit and he just wants to brawl right away. Forfeits his technique, but he can recover very quickly. It's pretty insane, man. He was getting right back up, just attacking to the body, attacking to the head against Andrade and against Cody Garbrandt. He's able to recover fairly quickly a few times as well. But he has taken a lot of punishment in both those fights, against Andrade and against Cody Garbrandt. Been dropped several times, got knocked out against Andrade. So you have to wonder if his chin's still all the way there. He has great cardio, and his whole game plan is just to try to push the pace and break you, He showed poor takedown defense against the cage against Hani Yahya and was submitted very quickly. He is a big 135er. He cuts a lot of weight, so that definitely affects him in the later rounds in terms of cardio. Even though his cardio is really good, I just do think that it might affect him, not in terms of his cardio, maybe in terms of, just like his ability to take a shot. Because you do see him get dropped a lot. He's able to come right back up, but he does get dropped a lot. And I don't know what that has anything to do with, but, he does able to get back up. But I do think maybe getting dropped has a lot to do with the weight that he cuts. And he will sit down, take shots and throw haymakers to try to finish you in round 3. Definitely did that against Cody Garbrandt. He was throwing heaters in the pocket, man, and just really going for that finish late in the fight. And you have to really kill Henry Briones to stop him from coming forward. And he's going to be facing a long-time UFC vet in Frankie Saenz. Saenz, a former wrestler, has fallen in love with his striking. He only has one takedown in his last 3 fights, and he's been actually getting out-wrestled. So we need to get back to his roots and wrestle in this one for the path of least resistance, in my opinion. And he's kind of turned into a volume striker, throws solid combinations, strong inside-outside leg kicks, has good leg kicks with both legs, nice jab, nice uppercut. He'll throw a jab hook, crash the distance with another flurry of punches. He'll throw a lead hook, then an overhand. And he's gotten much better in his UFC career with movement and footwork. He's been better with lateral movement, doesn't just stand right in front of you. He can get caught coming in and got finished by Eddie Wineland, rocked by Augusto Mendez. He has good knees in the clinch and has big elbows he can land. He'll work the body with the shots, and he can keep his hands low in the pocket and get clipped with left or right hooks, though. He has okay takedown defense, but his get-up game is what's actually pretty impressive. Does a great job of getting up against the cage, never accepts position on the ground, is usually always up, like a cat, man, fairly quickly. He has good double leg entries, good power, and good drive on his shots. He could pick you up, he could slam you. Nice single leg against the cage. And his cardio is never a question. You always have the gas tank to push hard for 3 rounds. And I think that Saenz going to be able to win this fight by using sticking and moving and a clinch wrestle, heavy game plan. Really push him against the cage whenever he feels threatening to stand up. And I think he's going to be able to control where the fight takes place and win a decision here. I do think this fight will have its hairy moments for Saenz, but he has too big an advantage in the wrestling over Briones, and I think that he's going to go back to that. And I'm going to go with Frankie Saenz in this one. And up next, we have a pretty good fight here, and it's going to be between Enrique Barzola and Brandon Davis. And, for Enrique Barzola, I actually think that, he's undefeated in the UFC. He does have that one loss to Kyle Bochniak, but it was very, very controversial. And for Brandon Davis, he's coming back off of a win. And had a very close fight with Kyle Bochniak as well, so they have that common opponent. But Brandon Davis is another action fighter from Alan Belcher's camp in Mississippi. He has fast, straight punches, uses solid footwork, head movement. He'll land, angle off, land another combination. Does a very good job of that. Nice front snap kick to the body, and he throws very nice leg kicks very early and often. He's very diligent at attacking that leg. He has a nice straight right hand he can land and angle off, and a nice lead hook, and he'll use it to set up his leg kicks. His jab is fast and straight, his hands are fast, and he can land long-range straight punching combinations with both hands. He's good at controlling the range, just sliding out of the way of your shots, catching them on his gloves and on his shoulder. He has a nice step and knee, and he can keep his hands low in the pocket after throwing sometimes. It can get clipped. He doesn't really have knockout power and really just focuses on out-voluming you. And he's only finished very low-level competition. And if you don't give him the fight he wants, he can get impatient, start to chase you, where you can time him. He stands very tall, and the double leg is there to get. But he does have heavy hips, does a decent job of getting double underhooks and disengaging. Against the cage, he isn't nearly as good with his takedown defense. He doesn't fight hands well, and he lets you connect your hands on the legs and just take you down. And people are able to take his back as well against him. And he's patient, he's calm in those situations, does a good job of escaping when he sees an opening. But he definitely needs to improve his clinch game against the cage and his takedown defense. He needs to find a way to lower his level when he strikes and not stand so tall, because if he does, I just don't see a way he can keep Barzola off of his legs. Even if he can stop a few takedowns, I think Barzola is going to be able to log a lot of cage control against the cage, or a lot of clinch control against the cage. Davis does have good cardio. He's able to push through adversity, and this is going to be his first real camp at the UFC. He's had a short notice fight against Kyle Bochniak, and he was actually injured in that fight as well, and then he took the fight against Steven Peterson on 10 days notice. He has nice elbows he can throw, but Barzola is looking to continue a strong start in the UFC here. He's won 3 in a row, and his only loss, like I said, is very arguable. He's a tenacious wrestler who's rounded out his game. He likes to move a lot and keep his weight on his back foot so he can explode forward with, powerful punches or a double leg shot. He has a nice right hook and a high kick that's pretty good as well. And he'll go to the legs with kicks too. He has some pretty nice leg kicks. Nice front kick to the body. He has power in his right hand. He really loads up on it and tries to make his stand-up dangerous. He likes to dig to the body with punches and body kicks, and he wears you down as the fight goes on. And he has a really great double leg, really powerful with it. He'll pick you up and slam you. He'll drive you to the fence and work to get you down from there. On top, he has very hard, aggressive ground and pound throws with fight-ending intentions for sure. He does struggle to hold people down at times, and they're able to stand back up. He has a good clinch game against the fence and can hold his opponents there and burn clock. He's aggressive but still smart in his game plans, and if he feels you're in trouble on the ground, he'll just take you down and stand back up to avoid the jiu-jitsu. He doesn't want to get submitted. He's able to do, recognize when you're, going to be some trouble for him on the ground. He has good cardio, and he's never been finished. And this is an extremely hard matchup, in my opinion, for Brandon Davis. Barzola is too good at getting in on the legs, and Davis doesn't have good enough power to keep him off. And I think Barzola is going to be able to take him down at will and win a pretty obvious, pretty easy decision here. And I'm going to go with Enrique Barzola in that one. I just think that it's going to be dominant. I'll even say that that's going to be one of my most confident picks of the night right there. And up next, we have Humberto Bandenay against Gabriel Benitez, and just fucking sick fight, man. This is an incredible fight. Great striking matchup. Humberto Bandenay is very young, impressive prospect. Extremely fast. That guy's very dynamic with his punches and kicks. Nasty straight left hand. Solid right jab. His hands are super fast. Like some of the fastest hands in the UFC. Nasty right body kick. He'll go high with it. And has one of the fastest body kicks I've ever seen, to be honest with you. His inside leg kick is very heavy, too. Does a good job of controlling distance, being able to slide out of the way of your shots coming back with his own. He's been in some wars in Peru. He's taken some big shots, been able to eat them and battle back. Showed he has a good chin, good heart. He's been very tired and able to find a way to victory. He had a nasty head kick knockout in his UFC debut against Martin Bravo, who's a pretty good fighter. And he will cross the distance with long, straight punching combinations. Solid power in his left hand. Super young. He's been training at a great gym. He went to Team Oyama, and he should be getting a lot better, in my opinion. He's had all the striking skills to be a beast in this division. And he can't get tired and not move his feet enough and get tagged with shots against the cage. He has a good chin, and he stays calm in those situations. Does a good job of landing hard shots when you come at him aggressively. All 4 of his losses have been by submission. Definitely has questionable takedown defense, and his jiu-jitsu is just probably not up to par yet. He does have decent takedowns himself, and he will explode on double legs. He should be even better than when we saw him. 23, now training at Team Oyama. The future could be very bright for him. And he's getting a pretty big step up in competition here. He's going to face Gabriel Benitez. The AKA product is coming off the biggest win of his career. He put a beating on Jason Knight. He has very good striking. He's a southpaw, very dangerous left leg. He attacks, too, with the inside leg and body kicks, and he will go high with that kick. His kicks are super powerful. Javier Mendez said he's the most powerful kicker he's ever, felt. His left straight's very nice and fast. He has a nice jab. He'll jab, then follow with a right hook. He has good footwork and movement, does a good job of sliding out of the way of your shots while landing counters of his own. He only throws kicks with his left leg, really, and his right side, you really only have to worry about the jab and the right hook. He was able to use great movement and takedown defense, dominated Jason Knight. Knight was loading up on every shot, being super aggressive and obvious with his attacks. And he was just walking him down. He wasn't using fakes or feints or many kicks, trying to land haymakers in the pocket. And he gave Benitez a very easy target to find. And when he fought Andre Fili, he got finished with a head kick and was caught with another one earlier in that fight. And that's definitely a specialty of Humberto. He has solid takedown defense, a good get-up game. And he can go for all 3 rounds, keeps his technique. And, this is a much different matchup for him, though, with Humberto Bandenay. Bandenay is going to be using a lot better angles, a lot more kicks than Jason Knight, a lot more variety. I think he's the faster, more dynamic guy. And Benitez does have nice guillotines. He was able to choke out Sam Cecilia and Humberto Brown after rocking him on the feet. Yep, this is the second Humberto he's fighting in the UFC. Pretty weird. But Humberto Bandenay will win via knockout with the head kick in round 2, in my opinion. I think Humberto could be a player very quickly at 145. And I expect him to look amazing, man. I expect him to look really good. I think that he's going to win by knockout, like I said. And that's one of the best fights of the night right there. That's a fight that you got to keep your eye on. I know a lot of people are down on this card, but they do have a lot of good matchups, man. A lot of matchups that are very interesting. Just like this next one coming up with Syuri Kondo against Poliana Botelho. Both these girls are very aggressive, very forward-striking, and they're going to have to meet in the middle and see who wins this one. But Poliana Botelho is going to be making her second appearance in the octagon. She has pretty decent potential. She's training at one of the best camps for females in MMA, in my opinion, at Nova and Yao. And she's very aggressive with her striking. She can't eat shots to give her own. She's a bit wild and wide with her striking and can get clipped. She's very heavy on her front leg and can be leg kicked. She likes to stay long and loose and throws an overhand right. She'll attack with a nice front kick to the body and to the head. She has a very nice spinning body kick. She's very physically strong for the division, and I actually believe her pressure and power gets a lot of girls nervous on the feet, makes them want to close the distance and become a grappler. She showed good takedown defense in her last fight, was able to land those Travis Brown type elbows against the cage, attacking with knees as well. She was getting controlled against the cage, and she couldn't get her back off the cage, but she did land strikes while she was there and defended the takedowns. She has a very wide stance and stands very tall, so she'll always have the problem of people getting in on her legs, and she wings punches with full power at both hands and has no problem exchanging power shots in the pocket. She showed very good takedown defense and balance in her last fight, defending all of Pro Gonzalez's takedowns. Parlay needs a lot of work with her technique, though, but she still has great intangibles that could make her an interesting prospect. She's a solid athlete. She has finishing instincts and a good chin, good power. But she needs, serious work on her technique against the cage. She has no pummeling. She just accepts the position. And against better clinch fighters, she cannot just hang out there against the cage. That's going to be a detriment to her. The way that she stands just puts her leg out there to be kicked just right there, and I think people can get in on her leg. She has a very awkward stance, and Syuri Kondo is a much more technical fighter. Kondo has great pressure. She'll walk you down all fight, stay in your face, hands high. She has a nice jab that follows with the overhand right, and she won't let you breathe, man. She'll literally run to stay in your face, just always get you moving backwards. Good job of landing her right hand, getting her head off center line. She likes the jab right straight combo. She will throw some leg kicks and body kicks, but she should throw more kicks. She has a solid front kick to the body. She can't get tagged and eat punches when she's closing the distance. She does do a good job of cutting off the cage, not chasing. And she should come in on better angles, as she usually does come in just on straight lines. She has a great chin, will walk forward eating shots, all fight without worry. You will need to knock her out to stop her from coming forward. I just think it's that Japanese heart, Japanese culture. She has great cardio. She can push hard the whole fight. She throws spinning attacks in the pocket, just spinning back fists and spinning kicks to the body. And this is going to be a highly entertaining fight, as two come-forward strikers will collide. And I think Kondo's just more well-rounded with better technical skills. I think she's going to use a game plan of landing leg kicks, pushing her against the cage. And when she needs to, I think that she's going to take her down. And I think that Kondo will win a very fun decision in this fight. And I do think it's a close fight, but I'm going to go with Syuri Kondo in that one. And I actually think Syuri Kondo, is a decent fighter. She's a tough matchup for a lot of girls. And up next, we have a rematch between Alexandre Pantoja and Brandon Moreno. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this fight because, like I said, it's a rematch, and I don't think it's going to end very differently. They fought on Tough not very long ago. And, Alejandro Pantoja is a solid striker, good hand combination, solid leg kicks and body kicks. Pushes the pace, likes to move forward, hard right hand, good job of countering. Solid chin, good grappler as well, does very good at jumping to the back. Good rear naked chokes and guillotines. Questionable takedown defense, but very good stand-up game. And he wins a lot of close decisions, but he did submit Brandon Moreno and Neil Seery in the UFC. He isn't the fastest guy, but very tenacious, will stay in your face, take shots, walk you down. And, for Brandon Moreno, Ultimate Fighter, he was ranked 16, but he actually turned out to be pretty solid. He was able to drop Dustin Ortiz with a head kick, finished him with a rear naked choke, finished Luis Smolka as well. And but he doesn't have great striking defense, but he is fast, athletic, likes to use fakes and feints, set up different entries to his punches. Primarily a grappler, he always shoots in for double legs and singles, clinch takedowns, but his wrestling isn't that great. He doesn't set up his shots well. He doesn't have the best get-up game either, or scrambling. He can be controlled on the ground, but he is dangerous with his jiu-jitsu. Dives on submission, slick guillotine off a single leg against Luis Smolka, choked out Dustin Ortiz. He had a war against Ryan Benoit. He was dropped, showed flaws in his striking in that fight, and those flaws showed again against Sergio Pettis, where he got dominated. He has a solid low leg kicks on top of solid control. He did a good job passing the guard, taking the back of Sergio Pettis. And his long legs help him out and passing the guard. But I just think that this fight's going to end the same way. I think Pantoja's going to pressure him, keep him on his back foot, eventually take him down, take his back, and submit him with the rear naked choke. And I'm going to go with Alexandre Pantoja in that one by second round submission. And up next we have Zak Cummings against Michel Prazeres, and a very tough fight for Michel Prazeres, in my opinion. Michel Prazeres is being forced up to 170 pounds, even though he's only 5'8", has a 67-inch reach, and he's fighting one of the biggest 170-pounders in the UFC, man. And huge welterweight in Zak Cummings. He's well-rounded, a heavy power in his stand-up, black belt in jiu-jitsu, back-to-back submission victories for Cummings. And Cummings on top has great arm locks, chokes, and very heavy on top, works quickly. He likes to throw quick, straight punches in his fights, but he can get countered because he's not the fastest guy. He has a great chin, just walks through shots, shows very little effects, lands very heavy leg kicks. He's a southpaw, hard left hand. Sometimes he'll start to fade a little bit in round 3, but recently he's having the best run of his career, going 4-1 in his last 5 fights, back-to-back finishes. He doesn't throw a huge amount of volume on the feet, but when he does throw, it has a lot of power and it's fast and accurate. He does a good job of cutting off the cage, constantly staying in your face. And he had his opponent recently in his last fight. He lost that fight because he tripped and slipped in the bathtub, got a big gnarly cut. And hopefully that he doesn't lose to the bathtub again. But he has been asking for respect, big names. And he's going to have to get through Michel Prazeres to get a big name here. But Michel Prazeres is going to be severely undersized in this matchup. He missed weight multiple times and they forced him to move up in weight. He's fighting one of the biggest welterweights on the roster. And Michel Prazeres is a big bruising grappler, big power in his hands, explosive. He's riding a 6-fight win streak, but those were all at lightweight. On top, Prazeres is very active. He has very smooth passing. He'll move from half guard to side control and, just go from one side to the other side, just controlling all the way, looking for arm triangles, looking for north-south chokes. He has improved his striking. Now has solid hands, power in his hooks. He throws in combinations, throws some solid body and leg kicks in as well. He's an open striker, though, can be clipped with counters, and isn't the fastest with his hand speed. He likes to work in the clinch against the cage, used to gas in his fights, but he's addressed that, showed good cardio recently. He did get dropped against Gilbert Burns and had a stand-up war with him because he did not want to go to the ground with him. He does have a high-level victory over Marbek Taisimov in 2014, but Taisimov is much better than he was back then. He had a good victory over Desmond Green in his last fight, but the size advantage played a big role in my opinion. And I think this is going to be an extremely tough matchup for Prazeres. Cummings is extremely strong and physical with great takedown defense. I think he's going to be able to keep it standing and win a decision with his striking, if not take out Prazeres in the later rounds. But I'm going to go with Zak Cummings by decision, and I think it's going to be pretty dominant, man. I don't think that Michel Prazeres is going to be able to find much success at 170 pounds, especially against these behemoths like Zak Cummings. And up next we have Vicente Luque against Chad Laprise. And, for Vicente Luque, this is going to be, a big step for him if he wins this fight. I think they're going to push him back into that top 15 type contention. And the same thing for Chad Laprise. Both guys are, fighting for that recognition. Vicente Luque is very, very good. He only has that most recent loss to Leon Edwards, who's another great prospect. And Chad Laprise has 3 wins in a row. But, Vicente Luque is well-rounded. But his striking is what is actually impressive. Very technical, long for the division. Throws a nice snappy jab, inside-outside leg kicks. Throws a jab to a straight or a jab to an overhand combination. If he lands flush, he has one-punch KO power, especially with that right hand. He's a good athlete. His hands are very fast and loose, and it's hard to see what he's going to throw next. He'll attack with jumping knees when he gets you close to the cage. He likes to attack to the body with hooks. Does a good job of mixing it up, coming in on good angles. He has good hands high, come forward style. Does a good job of cutting off the cage, making you fight off your back foot. When he gets you in the pocket, he'll unload with the overhand rights, straight lefts. Solid grappling skills, good takedown defense, good takedowns against the cage. He'll go for singles and doubles against the cage, has decent body locks in the open mat. Very nice submissions. His chokes are extremely dangerous. Nasty Darcy Anaconda choke. He is a finisher. He's finished 11 of his 12 wins. Very good chin. He'll walk through the shots to land his own. He doesn't have the greatest defense at times, can just shell up, absorb punishment with the high guard. He does have good cardio, but if he goes hard in the wrestling department early, he can gas. He's beaten some quality fighters in the UFC, such as Nico Price and Bilal Muhammad. He's young and improving and has very high expectations for himself, wants to get to that UFC Hall of Fame. So for that to happen, he's definitely going to have to beat Chad Laprise. Chad Laprise is a solid striker as well, mostly a boxer, but he will throw the occasional head kick or leg kick. Good movement, good angles, sharp boxing. He has a nice jab, nice straight punches. He'll time you coming in, land hard counters. He's much better when he has space and can use his unconventional movements, stay unpredictable with the shots. When he's getting pressured and on his back foot, he's not as comfortable. He'll not throw nearly as much, and when he's being pushed backwards, he can get hit with jabs, left hands. Ross Pearson ate up his leg in their fight, and I think Vicente Luque is going to do the same thing. I think he's going to eat up that leg of Chad Laprise. Laprise has a nasty overhand right, and when he hurts you, he'll go for the kill. Has a pretty nasty liver shot, good timing on his body shots. He's not the biggest welterweight and probably should be fighting at lightweight. He has a game plan where he'll take you where you're less effective, but I think he actually may be outgunned, both on the feet and in the grappling in this one. Luque will beat up the legs of Laprise before hurting him, finishing him with the choke in my opinion. Luque is a legit guy at 170 and should get a real test after this bout. And I'm going to go with Vicente Luque by second round submission. I'm going to say he gets an anaconda choke. And up next we have Veronica Macedo against Veronica Macedo is fighting against Andrea Lee, KGB, and Veronica Macedo is a Taekwondo black belt, and it shows in her striking arsenal. She has a high volume kicking game. She'll throw a lot of variety with round kicks to the head, front kicks, axe kicks. She throws a nice side kick to the body and try to catch you upstairs with it. She's very fast with her kicks, and there isn't a telegraph. She's certainly dangerous with her kicks. She has solid lateral movement. She'll try to draw you into one of her kicks. Does a great job pulling you into spinning back kicks, front legs, side kicks. She has a solid jab. She'll land straight off the jab. She has a solid jab and will land straight off the jab with a left straight. But she doesn't throw a lot of hands. She can't get too comfortable with her spinning attack and get taken down off of them. She has decent takedown defense, but she still needs a lot of work with that. She has a brown belt and is aggressive with her submission game off her back. Very fast and dexterous legs. And, she's able to throw up triangles, arm bars very quickly. She'll attack with leg locks as well. And it seems like she isn't that hard to pass Macedo's guard, though, because she's very aggressive looking for submissions. And if she doesn't get them, she can get her guard passed. She seems a bit lost, when she gets inside control. She got pounded out by Ashley Evans-Smith. And doesn't seem to have the skills, the urgency to get back up off of her back after she gets her guard passed. She can get her, kicks caught and get taken down, and she needed to get better at not getting backed up behind the warning track caught against the cage. She has a solid clinch game, get double underhooks control while landing knees, and she'll dive on leg locks and is good at good at them, but she sacrificed position. If she doesn't get it, she could be on the bottom and be pounding out. She will be moving down to 125 pounds and did look like an undersized 135er, so this weight class should suit her better. She's still extremely young in her MMA career. She got signed by the UFC after only being a pro for 6 months, only 22 years old. And she's coming off a pretty long layoff, almost 2 years. She changed her camp. She's training out of France now. She got tired against Ashley Evans-Smith. She needs to get better with her cardio. But she did seem tough and confident. I don't think she's the type of girl that's going to quit. She doesn't have huge power, so I think it's going to be hard for her to keep Lee off of her. Andrea Lee, someone who's been on the UFC's radar for some time now, finally making her debut. She actually had a problem, early on. I don't necessarily remember exactly what happened, but I think maybe she had to go in the USADA testing pool. So she's been signed for quite a while by the UFC, but this is going to be her first fight. And she's well-rounded, much more prototypical Muay Thai striker. She's light on her feet, fast with both punches and kick combinations. She doesn't use a lot of movement, instead of liking to exit, use head movement, come back in with a new angle, but kind of stand right in front of you. And she has great variety with her shots as well, throwing round kicks to the body, to the leg. She'll throw a front kick to the body. Good job of staying long with her punches. Nice straight left and jab. She'll use hard left hooks to keep you off of her. Very good with her lead hand. She likes to enter combinations with the body kick. She has really nice boxing. She'll throw nice combinations with pretty big power on her punches. Nice left uppercut, right overhand combo. Likes to attack to the body with her punches too. She has a couple of liver shot KOs in MMA. And she's at her best when she's walking you down with hard shots. And without a doubt, she's beaten and fought much better competition, more seasoned, experienced fighter than Macedo. And her counter hooks in the pocket to the body and the head are dangerous. She has power on them. She actually has solid wrestling, good strength, nice body lock, trip takedowns, nice knees in the clinch. She uses her height well to defend takedowns in the clinch and strike at the same time. She likes to take the back in top position, has solid ground and pound, good chin, good cardio, and I think she does a good job continuing to walk down her opponents for all 3 rounds. This fight, she's going to be the bigger, stronger fighter in the cage. I think she's going to walk down Macedo, wear down punch combos and body shots, and I think she's going to slowly start to make Macedo slow down, and I think KGB is going to be, utilizing a clinch and takedown game as well, and I think she's going to be able to win a decision. I think it might be close early, but I think she's going to run away with it. And I actually think Andrea Lee's, one of the best 125ers in the world, especially at that division for the UFC. They don't have that much talent. And I actually think Macedo could potentially be a top 15 girl there as well. She has some technical skills, but she needs to, just work on getting that more experience in the cage and, not doing those stupid things like ruling for knee bars and, just being a little bit smarter. And up next we have Diego Rivas against Guido Cannetti, and, it might be an interesting fight, but a very low-level fight. Diego Rivas is back. He's just lucky to be fighting, really commend the guy. He got diagnosed with cancer, given 1 month to live, and, after extreme intensive chemotherapy and emergency surgery, he was able to not only beat it, but, back in the cage, fought against Jose Quinones. And he'll be the only Chilean-born fighter on the card, so expect the crowd to be fully on his side. And he's still very green, but he has good intangibles and physical gifts. Huge knockout power for a 145-pounder, and he'll attack with hard looping hooks. His right hand has 1-punch knockout power, and he can hurt you with it, even if he doesn't land clean. He doesn't throw a ton of kicks, but his most recent fight, he was throwing more leg kicks and body kicks and trying to be more tactical, less aggressive. I don't think it helped him much because he was much more inactive on the feet, and when he did land his right hand, he was able to stun Quinones, but just didn't throw his hands enough. He's a good athlete, was able to have a nasty flying knee KO against Nawad Lahat. He has good power in the grappling worm as well. He doesn't have technical takedowns, but he can crash the distance on a double leg, drive through, and get you to the ground. But his grappling is extremely raw. He doesn't seem to know very much jiu-jitsu. Off his back, he doesn't try to get up and can attack with low percentage moves from the guard, easily gets his guard passed. He does a decent job staying composed in bad positions in the ground, and he was able to survive some precarious moments against Nawad Lahat, who's a jiu-jitsu world champion. He doesn't have the long-range striking to hang out on the outside and win a fight at the UFC level. He needs to go back to his aggressive style and get inside to land his right hook, land his hands. And Guido Cannetti actually had a fairly decent showing in his last fight against Kang, even though it was a loss. He showed he definitely improved since joining Team Alpha Male. He looked very quick, was doing a good job using good in and out footwork, fakes and feints, not being an easy target to hit. He has good kicks. He'll throw nice head kicks, front kicks to the body. He has very heavy kicks, nice inside leg kicks, very hard. He could load up on his kicks, can be countered at times if his opponents can time it. He's a nice left straight. He'll attack with the left straight right hook combo. He's going to be the much faster guy. And he was attacking with some devastating shots in his last fight, such as a spinning hook kick. He was doing a great job of landing left straight or kicks and just keeping his distance, pulling his opponents into his shots. He has a decent uppercut. He'll stick out a double jab. He can't get too aggressive, a bit sloppy, and he can run forward and either get clipped or finished or taken down. Off his back, he doesn't have much at all. He's been submitted 3 times. He is 38 years old, and this will be one of his last chances to, get a win, make a run in this UFC division. He got caught in a triangle in his last fight. He was dominating basically the whole fight. He has questionable takedown defense, but I don't think you have to worry about that much in this one against Diego Rivas. He'll be the crisper, faster striker from the outside. I believe his fakes and feints are going to freeze Rivas, make him worried, make him tentative. And Rivas, for the most of the fight, I think he's not going to be throwing much. I think Cannetti's going to be able to land from the outside. And Rivas does have that ability to change the fight with 1 punch, but I think you're just going to have to be waiting for that to trust him to get the win. And I think Cannetti will be the better striker in this matchup and win a decision here. So I'm going to go with Guido Cannetti. And Up next, we have a pretty decent fight with Cannonier against Dominic Reyes. I'm seeing a lot of people with a lot of confidence in Dominic Reyes in this one. But Dominic Reyes is a big-time prospect at 205. Long, powerful striker, devastating kicks and punches. But he's yet to fight anyone with good striking or anyone who's actually good, in my opinion. Cannonier is a very big step up for Reyes. It's really hard to tell where Reyes is at. He's really, ended a lot of his fights quickly. Hasn't had to face a lot of adversity or been in very many bad positions. 2 first-round finishes in the UFC, and 7 out of his 8 fights have been finished in the first round. He has a nasty left kick, and it's really nice to the body and to the head, and very fast with it. And he has big power in his punches. His right straight down the pipe has very big power. He can knock people out cold with it. He's aggressive, likes to come forward, overwhelm his opponents against the cage with combinations. He doesn't move his head much. He can get caught with straight counters. He's a good grappling game, has good takedown defense, will reverse, get on top. He's able to get the back against Jeremy Kimball, landing some nice hard elbows to soften him up, then got the rear naked choke. We've yet to see how his cardio is or how his chin is, if he's pushed or what he'll do in adverse situations. This is going to be his first fight out of the United States and against the best opponent he's ever fought. The guys he's fought in the UFC have been the lowest level athletes of the division. He'll now fight another athletic guy in front of him in Jared Cannonier, and Cannonier's fought much better competition, much more experience in MMA. He's a bit undersized for 205. He said he wants to go to 185 after this fight, but his striking is very good. He has super fast hand combinations, especially his jab, straight right hand. He has a hands-down game with incredible head movement. He's able to evade punches, come back with quick, powerful counter punches. He shows a good kicking game as well, but I think he should utilize his kicks more. But once he's comfortable with his takedown defense, I think he will start to use those kicks. He has a great switch head kick. He rocked an opponent with Nick Roerick. He's a nice front kick to the face as well. And he will demoralize his opponents by walking him down with his hands down, making him miss, countering him, just making him look silly, shy to throw for the rest of the fight. Did that against Ian Cutelaba very well. He has bad takedown defense, but he's shown improvements and has good defense off his back. Does a good job recovering full guard, controlling the hands, not allowing you to rain down ground and pound. He also does a good job getting up against the cage. He has great cardio and able to be active even in the third round. He has a good chin as well, and this is going to be his second camp here training at the MMA lab full time, so I'm expecting to see a better version of the Killer Gorilla. And he finished Nick Roerick with brutal ground and pound and elbows in their fight. And he likes to control the cage, control the center of the octagon, push you back. He has a strong low leg kicks. And I know Reyes is the pick for most people, but I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier in the upset, man. I think he's fought very high-level fighters, held his own. And I think the experience will show later rounds as Cannonier starts to tag Reyes with straight shots. I think he's going to really start tagging him with that straight right. I think Reyes is going to start to get a little bit tired. I think he's going to start to become a nervous wrestler. And I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier by third round TKO. And up next we have the co-main event with Tatiana Suarez against Alexa Grasso. And you know what is a pretty straightforward fight. And in my opinion, this is my most confident pick of the night. With Alexa Grasso came into the UFC with big fanfare, but she's had mixed success in the UFC. She has crisp tactical boxing, nice jab, left hook, fast hands. She'll attack in the pocket with straight punch combinations, but she doesn't seem to throw with huge power, and if you walk her down and get inside, she struggles to fight off her back foot. She has good kicks, throws leg kicks, body kicks nicely. She likes the lead left leg head kick. She can get pushed back, and if you attack her with the flurry, then control her against the cage or take her down. She has decent takedown defense and can reverse position, get top position. She doesn't have a great top game. She struggles to hold down her opponents, and they usually scramble back up to her feet before she gets much damage off. She can get her kicks caught and get taken down off that. She's pretty decent off of her back. She does a good job of staying moving, not accepting being on her back. Does a good job recovering guard, sweeping, getting back up. She does a good job of controlling posture against Brandon Marcos. Marcos was able to get in some dominant positions, such as the mount, back mount, laying some hard ground and pound. But, she was able to survive that. Grasso does have great cardio, and she's never been finished. And for Tatiana Suarez, she's an Olympic-level wrestler. Very good submission game, and she's huge for the division. with such height and reach, she can close the distance very easily, get a hold of you. She's still pretty raw with her striking skills, but she tries to use her length, throwing side kicks to the body, has some pop in her punches. But she's purely a wrestler and a damn good one, man. She has an incredible drive and ability to chain together and finish takedowns. And I've yet to see any of her takedowns get stuffed in the UFC, to be honest. Even Viviana Pereira was unable to stuff takedowns of Tatiana Suarez. And on top, she mauls you, throwing heavy shots, working consistently for chokes. She gets the headlock position when you try to stand up. She'll keep the standing headlock position and try to work for guillotines and darces, anacondas, Japanese neckties. She has a lot of choke variation. She has the right attitude that she's the best in the world, and I believe she has the gifts, and I think she's someone that has more grit and is still an extremely high-level wrestler with tremendous cardio like Sarah McMahon, but I don't think she's someone that's going to will underneath the first sign of adversity. And she has great cardio, and she uses it as a weapon. She keeps the pace and consistently attacking for chokes and takedowns. She doesn't move her head much at all when she strikes, and sometimes she'll throw some ugly leg kicks that are not set up or an ugly body kick. But she was showing some improved stand-up in her last fight. She was faking and feigning more, throwing kicks from the outside, not getting in punching range. She likes to either be all the way out or all the way in on the feet, but she's extremely heavy on top, and if she takes you down, you aren't getting back up for the rest of the round. And I think she's one of the best 115-pounders in the world, and I think she's going to dominate Alexa Grasso, and I'm going to say she'll win via second round rear naked choke. And like I said, that's going to be my most confident pick of the night there. Well, I will say I think Kamaru Usman might be more confident, but just looking at the odds, I don't want to give you guys a minus 400 favorite for that. So I'm going to go with Tatiana Suarez. But for the next fight, like I said, really think Kamaru Usman's in a good spot here. Demian Maia is, way past his prime, 40 years old, and taking this fight on short notice, having to travel all the way to Chile from Brazil. And he's fighting a guy, 5 rounds, Kamaru Usman, who's, elite-level wrestler. And we've seen what's happened with Maia against elite-level wrestlers of late. He's against Tyron Woodley. He was able to not get a single takedown and was pieced up on the feet. And the same thing happened against Colby Covington. And the Colby Covington fight, he was actually beat up pretty bad in that fight where his face was bloodied. Not a great performance by Demian Maia in that fight, and he gassed very quickly. And Kamaru Usman, I think he should have the same game plan. And I do think that if Kamaru Usman got in the guard, stayed heavy like Chris Weidman type, landed that ground and pound, maybe passed a half guard, and not let Demian Maia get that half guard sweep, not let Demian Maia, take the back, do something crazy, I think he could control from there. But why risk that, man? I think that he's a guy that's the much better athlete, much better wrestler. He has the much more power in his hand, even though he doesn't have the greatest striking. He's very athletic. He's going to be much faster than Demian Maia. I think that Demian Maia is going to struggle to get inside, and he's going to be getting hit with hard shots. I think that he's going to, become tentative very early and just start to try to dive on takedowns from the outside, flop into his back. And, I think the UFC knows exactly what they're doing, man. They know that Demian Maia, was a terror on them for a while. They had to finally give him a UFC title shot after basically trying to throw the kitchen sink at him and not give him one. And they see the blueprint, man. Tyron Woodley was able to defend all his takedowns and beat him up on the feet. So they gave him a wrestler. They said, Colby Covington, come on up, baby. And they said, hey, go to Brazil, do the same thing that Tyron Woodley did, take care of business, get Demian Maia out of here. And, that's what happened. And now they're calling, Demian Maia to come fight Kamaru Usman on short notice. Same type of thing, man. Another elite-level wrestler with, better striking than Demian. And Demian Maia has said in the past that a thing that really helps him with his camps is going up to New Jersey, training wrestling in the States. And in my opinion, I do not think that there's a way that he could have done that in this short period of time and with having to travel to a different country. So just with all that being said, I think that Kamaru Usman is going to just be very dominant. And I think he's going to get another highlight reel knockout. I think it's going to be a very similar type knockout to that knockout that Nate Marquardt had. And I'm going to go with Kamaru Usman by second round KO in that fight. And so those are my predictions for UFC Chile. And I hope you enjoyed it. But like I said, for my most confident pick, I'm going to go with Tatiana Suarez to defeat Alexa Grasso. And for me, if I wanted to give you guys a parlay of the week, I would probably go with Vicente Luque and Tatiana Suarez. Zak Cummings and Tatiana Suarez is a pretty good one as well. I actually think Pantoja is a very good pick as well as Felipe Silva. I actually think there's a lot of good spots here. I really like Enrique Barzola. I think that he's going to have a pretty dominant victory in that one. That's actually might be one of my most confident picks as well on the card, Enrique Barzola. And like I said, guys, I think Syuri Kondo might come in as an underdog. Humberto Bandenay might come in as an underdog. Cannonier, I feel, is definitely going to come in as an underdog. And Guido Cannetti may even be an underdog. So who knows? There might be a lot of underdog opportunities as well in this fight, in this card. And don't think this is a card to sleep on, man. I think that there's a lot of good opportunities for gambling. I saw that Tatiana Suarez opened at -110. Now she's only a -190. So definitely think those are great odds there. And please subscribe for more, guys. I got over 300 subscribers. That's fucking awesome. Thanks a lot, man. I've really enjoyed doing this, and I really like that I'm starting to get, some more subscribers. Hopefully I could get, maybe even to like 1,000 or something, or 500. I mean, we're still slowly moving up, man, but really happy to see that after kind of like 5-6 months doing these videos. I'm finally, hit that 300 subscribers, so really appreciate that. And, hopefully, since we hit 300, I can give you guys another great week of predictions. Hopefully we hit the parlays. Hopefully you guys hit on a couple underdogs that I give you, and, enjoy the rest of the week, guys.